Now it's visible?
Yeah.
It's visible, right? Excel
Yeah.
sheet.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in Indian salary breakup, salary structure first we need to understand when we want to understand the payroll. So, the basic Indian salary structure is like there should be a basic salary, then DA, then HRA, then other allowance.
Yes.
Okay. Now, sometime this other allowance only they write it like medical allowance, city compensatory, and also sometimes they write it as what you say conveyance.
But other allowances are nothing but special allowance kind of also,
Correct.
right?
All these three either you can put together as other allowance also, or you can put some different amount and divide it, or you can equally divide it also. I
Okay.
will show you now. So then all together you get the gross salary. So that's where
Yes.
we write it as gross salary. Okay. So gross salary is nothing but the earnings.
Yes.
After the earnings, we get deduction. Now
Then
deductions are like ESI employee, PF
PF
employee,
and PF.
then professional tax, then income tax. Okay. Yeah. So these are the general deductions. Apart from any other deduction, actually to be considered as illegal. Okay, companies cannot deduct anything unnecessary from the employee's salary unless there is an exclusive agreement and a proper justification for the deductions, which companies now are doing in case of freshers just to retain them. Some amount they deduct and etc. That's all
Yeah.
different thing.
Okay.
Then it comes employer contribution. Now, see what I'm showing is a very what you say the basic one. Basic in the sense this is the core. Okay, now
Okay.
it can be represented many other way, but this is the core.
Okay.
Okay, then it comes
Only
employer
here, I'm sorry, but only in the earnings where, apart from other allowances, whatever medical city conveys, it's gonna vary company to companies, right?
Yeah, that I'll explain you. Now I'll show you the calculation. First I'm showing you how exactly the structure is in Indian payroll system. And we must
Okay.
understand these are the basics. You go to any organization, this cannot lack over there. This must
Okay.
be there. Apart from this, organization can add anything else.
Okay. Okay.
But here there is no compromise. This is the calculation, this is the component, it must be there. So this becomes the basic rule. So when we
Okay.
want to work in Indian payroll system, we must understand this basic rule first. Because if this is compromised, the whole system becomes non-compliance and illegal.
Okay. Okay.
Now then comes ESI employer, PF employer, then gratuity, bonus. Okay. Now
Yeah.
this is how you get it. Then it comes CTC, cost to the company.
Okay.
Okay, so this is kind of A, this is D, component B, component C, and component E. Actually, D is not required. Okay, now let's understand one by one. When we want to prepare salary structure to release offer letter to any employee, what we
Mm-hmm.
first need to consider is the basic.
Yes.
Okay, and basic is calculated on gross salary. So any salary which I want to create a salary structure, first what we
Mm-hmm.
need to do, we need to decide a lump sum gross. For
Okay.
example, if we want to offer somebody say a CTC of 25,000
Mm-hmm.
or 28,000, so a lump sum amount we have to, so we have to write it as 25,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now the basic salary will be 60% of 60% of gross.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it is actually basic and DA should be 60%. So what I do, I because sometime what happens, you can write basic and DA together in salary structure, there is no question. But sometimes this basic and DA is a very a critical subject here. Okay, because basic and DA is not always 60% of gross salary. It also
Mm-hmm.
depends on something called minimum wages. You
Okay.
understand minimum wages?
Minimum wages is based on the city. It is, I mean, state is going to be very, right?
Yeah, minimum wages is a state subject, not central government subject. Every state
Mm-hmm.
has defined
Mm-hmm.
some basic and DA for the employee wise, category wise, like skill, unskilled, semi skilled, like highly skilled, like that. Okay, Delhi has a
Okay.
different minimum wages. Karnataka has different minimum wages. Tamil Nadu has different minimum wages. So it and it
Mm-hmm.
revise every time. Every you say annually once it revises. If I can show you, here is my this visible blog.
Yeah.
Okay, here when you come, see minimum wages in India. So this give you a very clear concept what exactly is minimum wages. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
see here is the rule, last updated minimum wages in all these states. So again April 24 is coming and all these will be revised.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then it can be referred from here. So minimum wages is something when government decide. For example, minimum wages in Karnataka for
Mm-hmm.
highly skilled is say 18,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
in actual basic is coming
50.
60% of 25,000 is just 15,000.
Okay.
Then the rule says here I have to
Mm-hmm.
follow 18,000.
Okay.
Whatever
Yes.
is higher,
Mm-hmm.
that we need to pay to employee. That's the government rule. Government says that there is a minimum wages that we have defined,
Mm-hmm.
and there is also another rule as per labor law that it should be 60% of basic and gross salary. So
Mm-hmm.
out of which one is higher, you have to consider that. So now I cannot keep it as 15,000, I have to keep it as 18,000 because
Okay.
minimum wages is higher.
Yes.
Suppose in case for some state where you are preparing this salary structure and minimum wages is 12,000,
Mm-hmm.
then in that case what will happen, you have to follow 60%
Let's
of
see.
this.
Yes.
Got it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
understood.
So when you are preparing a salary structure, ensure that you create these components like this and then
Mm-hmm.
enter a lump sum gross and then check 60% of basic, and then also check minimum wages what is defined by the government.
Okay.
Okay, if the minimum wages which is defined by the government is more than the 60%, then you have to follow the minimum wages. If it is less, then you have to follow the actual 60%. Got it?
Understood.
Yeah. So this is how basic and DA. Now, sometime what happens when government decides, they decides basic separate and DA separate.
Okay.
In that case, when you work in organization, an organization goes under CLRA audit, contract labor license audit, then what happens, the auditor will also show DA separately. Otherwise DA can be put together, put together basic and DA should be 60%. But now because there is an audit and you have to show it separately, so I would prefer to keep it as 48%, and then this as 12%. Altogether it becomes 60%. Same, it will come 15,000 only. Okay, we should write it like this so that it becomes basic and DA together as 60% of gross.
Okay. So it's not that particularly we have some percentage for DA.
No, actually, if you want to calculate DA, then how DA is calculated? It's like, suppose 25,000. So this into 60%, then it will happen like this into 20% minus this itself.
Okay. So it's like based on the basic, we're gonna give the TRA.
Yeah.
We're gonna segregate it. It doesn't mean that we have particularly fixed, percentage.
This is how it comes. Okay, so but what will happen, this is a little complicated one. People may get unnecessary disturbed there, so that's why I have removed that concept and I have finalized it as 48% and 12%. Like that, if you keep it, comes exactly the same and proper compliant. So is this clear up to here?
Yeah.
How is the structure defined? What comes under earnings deduction and employer contribution, which is as per statutory and labor law, that are mandatory, that must be there. Then we started with the calculation. So first we are talking about the basic salary. So I explained you, first condition of basic is that it should be basic and DA together 60% of the gross salary. Okay, second rule, we also have to refer minimum wages, because government will also define minimum wages, and if minimum wages is higher, then we have to consider that. If 60% is higher, then we have to consider that. Okay, and that's how you calculated basic and DA. Now there is another third rule related to basic and DA, which is that when you have calculated this basic and DA, 1 minute. Yeah, so this basic and DA, the 60% what I mentioned is also actually not 60% all the time. It is 60% and 50%. Okay, so in metro city it is 60%, in non-metro it is 50%. So and I'm mentioning it clearly, it's not in the state, in the city, metro city. In Karnataka, every city is not metro city. Bangalore is a metro city. So when you will prepare a Bangalore a breakup for Bangalore employee, then you will consider 60%. But if you will prepare a salary breakup for Mysore employee, then it will be 50%. Okay. Likewise in any other city also.
Okay.
Okay,
Understood.
so these are the three rules that you must know about the basic and DA. Now coming to HRA. Now HRA is 40% of basic and DA. Okay, HRA is house rent allowance. Okay, basic amount and DA amount, these are completely taxable amount. Whatever employee will earn, they will pay tax on that. HRA is something where up to 1 lakh rupees they have the benefit. That will be minus. Anyway, income tax we will talk later. So HRA, how it is calculated? It is calculated 40% of basic and DA. So 12,000 plus 3,000 into 40%. This is how you get the HRA. Okay. Now again, in case of HRA, I will explain you. HRA is not always 40%. Sometime state wise, if the law is there, or company may decide that no, instead of 40% I will give 50%, or instead of 40% I will give 20%. This is what they can decide. Okay, Or sometime when you are preparing the salary breakup for the junior most employee, where you just follow the minimum wages, or maybe you don't want to give so much of benefit. So sometime what happens, because nowadays minimum wages itself is so high, 18,000, 20,000 at some places. So in that case, HRA sometime can be zero also. All the components will be zero, especially for the unskilled category of employees. Okay, where they only pay the minimum wages and not anything else much.
Is that a compliance or non-compliance?
It's a compliance. HRA must be there. At least minimum 5% HRA must be there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, minimum 5%. But somehow it is not that important. Even if it is there, it's not that important. So sometimes people are keeping it zero also. But some of the states like Maharashtra, in Maharashtra it's compulsory to have at least 5% HRA. But other states, they don't monitor it sometime during the audit. Otherwise, you must keep at least 5%, and a very normal practice is 40%. Okay, and sometime if organization policy is there, they can also keep it as 50%.
It's also depending on the CTC, right? If it is CTC is like
No, that's what. See, on CTC, no. It depends on basic and DA. Automatically, those will become part of CTC. It has nothing to do with CTC. It has only to do with organization policy, state policy, and basic and DA. It only depends on these three things. Decide what we want to keep.
okay,
Got it?
understood.
Okay. Now remaining is other allowance. So how other allowance is calculated? This is simply gross minus basic minus DA minus HRA. This becomes 4,000, becomes other allowance, and the breakup is done. Now these three are not required. But sometime what other companies are doing, instead of putting it as other allowance altogether, they put it like this: gross minus basic minus DA minus HRA divided by 3.
What is it divided by 3?
Because three components are there, no?
Okay.
So see, altogether it will come 4,000 only. Then in that case, they'll not mention other allowance. They'll mention like this.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So basic, DA, HRA, medical, city compensatory, and conveyance.
Understood. Got it.
So this is how the earning section is now over. Okay, that's how this is all calculated. Now coming next, you can have ESI employee, you know that. Okay, but before we start calculating, I will give you some of the information about ESI. So ESI is state subject, not the central government subject. It's a state government subject, and ESI is applicable only for the employee whose gross salary is less than 21,000.
Yes.
21,001. Okay, if salary, gross salary I'm talking about, like see here in this case 25,000. So if the salary, gross salary is less than 21,001 rupee, then ESI will be applicable. Otherwise ESI will not be applicable for that employee. So if we see here, and it is calculated on gross salary. So if you see here, it will be like gross into, so basically we should put a condition that if gross salary is less than 21,001 rupee, then gross into 0.75%. Otherwise, if gross salary is more than 21,000, then it will be 0. Okay, so see, it came 0. Why it came 0? Because this is 25,000. If I make it 21,000, see, it calculated the ESI. And what percentage of ESI? 0.75% of ESI. Okay, so from employee salary, it is 0.75% of gross, is ESI that will be calculated and it will be deducted from employee salary. It's a deduction. ESI employee is a deduction from gross.
Okay.
Are you getting all these points which I'm briefing?
Yes, yes, I am getting it.
Okay.
I know. That's what, wherever I'm having a doubt.
Okay. Then say again if we make it 25,000, so it became 0 because ESI is not applicable, and for employee it is 0.75 and for employer it is 3.25%. Altogether it should be 4%. So let's calculate immediately for employer also, ESI employer. Okay, the only difference is it should be 3.25%. Okay, if I make it 21,000 again, see it is 0.75 ESI employee and 682 rupees ESI employer came automatically with that formula. Okay, now let's go into PF employee. So PF employee again, there are many rules in PF, at least 2-3 rules that you must keep in mind. So I'll brief you that first. Let's first understand how it is calculated. So it's equal to okay, let me first brief you the rule before the calculation. So PF rule is, you know, PF should be calculated 12% for the employee and 13% for the employer, and in that 13% which is employer portion, actually it is 12% which will again go back to employee account, and 1% which is admin charges which employee will not get. Okay, and PF is calculated on actually basic NDA, but the new rule has come that PF has to be calculated on all the earning components except HR if it is being paid to the employee on monthly basis. What was happening? People were keeping basic and DA less, and they are putting other amounts to save PF and not to contribute PF. That's where PF came up with the rule that PF has to contribute it on all the components like medical, CT, conveyance, everything on all the components except HRA, and if monthly bonus is being paid, then bonus and HRA PF will not be calculated on bonus and HRA. Otherwise, any components which we are paying to an employee, HRA has to be PF has to be computed on that. Okay, so the simple formula for PF calculation then becomes is like gross minus HRA, because then by default it will cover everything.
Exactly.
Okay, so gross minus HRA is the basic, otherwise you have to calculate all one by one. And there is otherwise also there is a rule. The rule says that any component, what was happening, a lot of people or the organization started practicing paying incentives along with the salary. Okay, but on that incentives amount they were not paying PF, they were not paying ESI. So then it was a concern they raised that and also otherwise there was a rule already that if any component, any amount that you are paying to an employee for continuous more than 3 months, then you have to pay ESI PF on that. That's when they bought a rule that any amount you are paying, you have to contribute ESI PF. Otherwise pay the incentives or any other thing separately, not along with the salary. Okay,
When they have introduced this?
it was already there, they just reinforced again.
Okay.
Little anyway it is a rule that if you are paying an employee maybe incentives every month, because you are paying every month and continuous 3 months you have paid, then from 4th month onwards you have to start contributing ESI PF on that. If 1 month 2 month you paid and it's fine, it's exclusive part, but if you have to pay every month, then you have to contribute ESI PF also on that amount. Okay, and PF also has another rule that if gross minus HRA is more than 15,000, then PF will be limited to 1800. Okay, I'll show you now that with the calculation. See here, if gross minus HRA is more than, is less than 15,001 rupee, then it will be gross minus HRA into 12%. If gross minus HRA is more than 15,000, then it will be 0. Sorry, not 0, 1800. Okay, see, now what is the limit of 1800? This basic and DA, or say basic and DA gross minus HRA, whatever amount is coming. Suppose for example in this, if you see 21,000 and HRA is 2520. So this minus this, see it's coming 18,480. So 12% of this is actually 2,217. Like that, if somebody's salary is say 90,000, so 10,000 rupees PF, obviously nobody will agree, right? So that's when there is a rule. The rule says that if gross minus HRA is more than 15,000, then the maximum PF will be 1,800. Now salary can be anything, but PF contribution from employee will be 1,800 only. But if this is like you say 10,000, so see it is coming 7,480, which is less than 15, 12%, which is 897. So if we make it here, see the PF, it's a actual 12%. Sorry, 1 minute.
It's showing 9,000.
Okay, so it is showing actual 12%.
Yes.
You got it?
Yeah, understood.
Yeah. So this is how PF is calculated, and don't be confused with this, because here see the HRA I have kept 2520, here HRA is 2400. That's why this 912 and 897 has a difference. Okay. So clear?
Yeah, clear.
So how we calculated all the earning components, what all the earning components we covered. We covered what is ESI, PF, how the deduction is calculated. PF employer also I'm completing now. Okay, PF employer also has the same rule. The only difference is it should be 13%, and the maximum limit should be 1,950.
Including admin charge.
Yeah, so if suppose I make it as 25,000, so see this is
But it's
1,000.
supposed to be, contributed by employer, right? By
Yeah, it will be. It is employer contribution only. See.
No, I'm talking about it. They will be considered in CTC only, right?
Yeah, employer contribution will be calculated in CTC only, but calculation has to be done, no?
Yeah.
That's why we are calculating. Okay, because ESI or any kind of calculation which is for the deduction and which is for the employer contribution, sometimes rules are little different. Like for example, in ESI, see the employer deduction is 0.75%, but what employer is contributing is 3.25%. Okay, PF employee is 12%, but employer is 13%. This is how. Okay, now coming to professional tax. Now professional tax is an easy one. Okay, professional tax is not complicated. Professional tax is again state subject. State government decides what should be the professional tax, and professional tax is based on the salary slab. Salary in the sense gross. For example, in Karnataka right now, if you say Karnataka rule is that if gross salary is 24,999, if it is, then professional tax will be 0.
Okay.
And if it is 25,000, then professional tax will be 200. That's all. Karnataka's PF rule is very simple and clear. It has only one PT slab, that is 25,000. If gross salary is 25,000 and more, 200 deducted, otherwise it's 0. So here in this case, professional tax will be 200, and it is not percentage wise formula or anything, nothing. Just the government will decide. If the same breakup we are preparing for Gujarat employee, then in Gujarat the rule is, if employee's gross salary, this is the gross salary. Okay, so in Gujarat, PT rule is, if gross is 12,000, then it is 200, otherwise 0. If it is less than 12,000, then it is 0. Same goes in Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, they say if it is 7,500, then 175 rupees. If it is 10,000, then 200, or anything more than 10,000, 200. Anything less than 7,500, 0. Okay, so you have to, at that time you have to go and refer, and while you start working anyway, these things will be by hearted to you. But every time when you prepare the breakup, you have to refer what government has given in notification or something, or any changes are there, and you have to follow that, because PT has no percentage based calculation, it's just the government defined. Okay, some of the places like Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Bihar, it is more complicated and multiple slabs are there. Okay, however, employment is also less there, so you will hardly prepare any salary breakup for them. Then if you talk about Andhra Pradesh or Telangana, there the rule is, if it is 15,000, 150, or if it is 20,000, then 200, like that it is there. Okay, so right now we are preparing for Karnataka, so our gross salary is 25,000, so professional tax is showing 200. Okay, income tax you should not enter and release the offer letter, because income tax is not statutory subject, it is, but it is not while you are giving the offer. Okay, so income tax you can show in pay slip, but not in offer letter and revision letter, because income tax depends upon employee's investment also. And what income tax will be deducted, employer has to do nothing. It is all based on what employee is earning, what kind of investment they have done, and what kind of income tax that he is liable to be deducted. So it has nothing to do with the salary breakup. Okay, that's why I written, so that I don't miss it. So income tax also is not the part of salary breakup when you are releasing the offer letter, because when employee is joining, you don't know what is his investment, you only know what he is going to probably earn. But that earning also again depends upon how long he is going to continue with you, and also his attendance and various other factors. Okay, so in advance you cannot assume and enter and deductions. Then employee will say, my take home is coming less, I need more. So you show what actually he should get, his income tax to be deducted from his take home salary during the payroll cycle, depending upon what kind of investment he has done. So income tax is not part of a salary annexure when an employee is being hired. Okay, hope this is clear.
Yes, yes.
Okay, now when we were doing this deduction ESI PF professional tax calculation, we also completed this ESI and PF employer contribution, and the rule were same, just the formula or the amount little differed, that also we completed. Now it comes gratuity. Okay, gratuity is a part of your salary structure, you must show, but sometime organization may not show it. Okay, but it is applicable. It is a statutory compliance. If an employee who is working in your organization for more than 5 years and leaving, then you have to pay gratuity. You cannot say it's not mentioned in your offer letter. Whether it is mentioned or not mentioned doesn't matter. If an employee who is a general employee, payroll employee, confirmed employee, should get gratuity after completing 5 years. Okay, sometime what happens, employer want to show it in the CTC so that CTC look more, you know. If you add in the CTC, obviously CTC will look higher and employee will be more attracted. Sometime employers, especially the domestic type of company, they are not showing it in the offer letter. The reason is, once they write the offer letter, and freshers, they don't understand when I will become eligible for it. So what happens, because it is written in their offer letter and they leave in 2 years, they think they are not paying my gratuity, it is mentioned, but actually you are not eligible for gratuity, so that is why they are not paying. So then a conflict will happen during the exit formality, and you have to educate the employee that you are not eligible for, because you have not completed 5 years. So to get rid of all that, employer may decide better not show, and when they are actually eligible and working with us, we anyway have to pay, so don't show in the offer letter.
Okay.
Okay, that's how they decide whether to show, not to show. But it is part of statutory compliance, you have to compute. And when an employee complete 5 years, you have to give them. So how it is calculated? So when actually, suppose if I have completed 5 years in the organization and I'm supposed to get gratuity, so how it will be calculated? It will be calculated like basic plus DA divided by 26 days. Okay, that's when I get my 1 day salary. This into 15 days salary, so it will be like this. And then into number of years, so suppose 5 years, so this will be my gratuity amount. Okay, if somebody's basic and DA salary is 15,000 and they have completed 5 years, then this will be their gratuity amount, 43,269. Now you can consider what basic and DA, when they joined, that time basic and DA, or when they completed 5 years, that time basic and DA. So when they completed 5 years, that time basic and DA. So today if you are releasing offer letter for somebody, okay, and they will complete 5 years, or maybe in 29, today you can't assume what will be their basic and DA, right? So what should you mention here? What should be the gratuity amount? So that's where a lump sum percentage is there, that is called 4.81%. So it is calculated like this: basic plus DA into 4.81%. It's simple. This is how you have to mention. To mention and to capture in offer letter, you have to mention this, but when actually we have to pay, we have to calculate this way. Okay, many HRs, they don't know. Even sometimes people are working in payroll, they don't know all these minute logics. So I'm explaining it to you. You got it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, now next is bonus. Bonus is calculated 8.33% of basic and DA. So simple, again, basic plus DA into 8.33%, and this is the bonus calculated. Again, there are rules in bonus. What rule? The rule is that bonus salary will not be paid. I mean, bonus is mandatory for every employee, for every organization. Okay, and it is 8.33% of their basic and DA salary, which will be either paid to them monthly or yearly, whatever organization can decide. But paying minimum is compulsory. So especially when the junior level employee is there, bonus is compulsory for the government, okay, which is 7,000. Like you have minimum wages rule defined by the government, no? Similarly 7,000 is defined by the government, that minimum 7,000 every employer must pay to their employee, whether the organization is loss or in profit, doesn't matter. Because many time employers say that my company is in loss, so we will not be paying bonus, but that's not compliant. For junior employee whose salary is, especially basic and DA salary is less than 21,000, they should get 7,000 minimum bonus compulsory. And not only 7,000, in fact whatever is coming actual 8.33, whichever is higher, again here, if an employee's salary is basic and DS salary is less than 21,000, number one condition. Number two condition, that employees basic and DA 8.33 percentage is, if suppose higher than 7,000, then they should get 8.33 actual. If it is less than 7,000, then minimum 7,000 they should get. It's compulsory. If an employee whose salary basic and DS salary is more than 21,000, then employer may choose not to give them bonus, and they can give them incentives, variable pay, or various other options are there then, no, ESOP and all that. Got it? Yeah. And now this bonus also, organization what they are doing even to the junior employee, instead of paying and calling it as bonus, they say as performance bonus. So nowadays if you see TCS or Infosys or any other offer letter, you see something is mentioned as performance bonus. So they are mentioning it as they have to comply with this also, and they have to ensure that employee should not take it for granted, okay, that anyway I should get. No, so they are linking it with the performance bonus, that if you perform then you will get, but we are paying bonus. So they are compliant also, and they are engaging employees also in performing. Got it? Yeah. So this is how bonus is calculated. Now cost to the company, CTC, what we call. CTC means all total amount which an employer is going to spend on the employee. So it is cost to the company. Cost to the company is calculated as gross salary plus, or wait, is equal to sum of all the employer contribution, okay, plus gross salary. This is the CTC. Okay, now something is left out called net pay or take home salary. What will employee get in hand? So this will be is equal to sum of all the deductions minus gross. Okay, so okay, so 23,000 employee will get the take home salary. 28,920 will be the employee's cost to the company, CTC, and these are the breakup.
Okay. Here I have a question again. If because I want to arrive to the C2C, so I have to work on the gross first, right? I mean, because here you have taken some numbers as a gross.
Correct.
You worked on everything.
Correct. So suppose if you want to make the cost to the company 25, so you have to make it 23,000, and you have to keep changing till you want what actually you want. Only gross. Okay, see, it will keep changing. got it?
Yeah.
Now CTC is, if suppose your focus is on take home salary, you want take home salary to be 20,000 instead of 19,366, then again you increase. Okay, but you have to focus on one thing. What you want to focus on, CTC or take home salary? Okay, so you have to focus on that and change the gross. Rest based on the formula which is entered here, it will automatically calculate.
Okay, understood.
And that's how the breakup is done. Now the same calculation rule and the rules and regulation which I brief you will remain same for any organization in India. Now to show this structure, they may show it very different way, but if you actually calculate, it will come same.
Okay.
Okay,
But here the companies are not showing the bonus and gratuity much.
correct.
Some companies, yes, but apart from that, rest everything. But
Yeah, and why they are not showing that also I told you.
yeah,
They are not showing because they know as per compliance anyway I have to pay. But sometime what happened, because see, like you have worked so much in HR but still you are not aware. Likewise many HR who works in HR industry itself, but they don't know. So it becomes more worst in case of employees. They also don't know, and then they start fighting with the employer while exit formality, that my gratuity is mentioned, my bonus is mentioned, why are you not paying? So the rule for gratuity is one should complete at least minimum 4.8 year of service to become eligible for gratuity. So if somebody is leaving in 3 years, they are not eligible for. To avoid that, the employer are not mentioning also. But in case of bonus, yes, in bonus, in case of junior employees, they are losing money because of lack of knowledge. Bonus rule is, if an employee completes 30 days in the service, they become eligible for bonus. For example, I joined an organization and I worked for 2 months. After 2 months, if I resign, 2 months of bonus I should get if my basic and DS salary is 21,000 or less.
oh, okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
That's
But most of
compulsory.
the companies they will not give.
Yeah, companies are not paying nowadays because employees are not aware of,
Oh yeah.
so they do this, but law says. Okay, now Kiran, hope you understood this, the entire breakup.
Yeah. Sure.
If suppose
Hmm.
you have to prepare the salary breakup where say the employee is saying I don't want PF, because sometime the first time employee who is coming to the professional setup first time, especially freshers, they may say that I don't want to contribute PF.
Okay.
Okay, I don't want to contribute PF,
Hmm.
and there is a provision for that.
Okay.
Provision is that if an employee who is a first timer, especially freshers, or maybe he has worked somewhere but never PF account was created, he was working as a consultant or something. So when that employee wants to, joining your organization and saying that I don't want PF, then he has an option. He has to sign Form 11 and submit to you declaring that my basic and DS salary is more than 15,000, so I don't want to be a part of PF contribution.
Okay.
Okay,
If it is only 15,000 and
if it
above.
is more than 15,000,
Yeah.
and second rule is he should have never been part of PF contribution in any other organization previously also.
Okay.
If ever his in lifetime his PF was created, then he cannot skip.
Okay.
But if never his PF was created and his current basic and DA is more than 15,000, then he has all the legal option to sign Form 11 and say that I don't want to contribute PF. In that case, you have to remove this PF and prepare the breakup.
Okay.
Okay. Likewise, your employer may say remove the gratuity and pay.
Yeah.
Likewise, you have to pay breakup for Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, these, that, and also every time you have to change the formula or maintain different Excel sheet. Or like
Based on the
minimum wages is 10,000, then you change, then you again change the formula. So that's how it becomes so difficult, right?
yeah.
Again and again multiple Excel you have to or update the formula and do, and there might be possibility some mistakes or formula mistakes or anything. That's where I have created this breakup. I hope now you are realizing this salary breakup. Here what you have to do, see, you just have to select breakup, I mean gross salary, say 25,000. Suppose you are not preparing a breakup where minimum wages is a thing, and you are preparing it for say Karnataka, okay, and just calculate. You got it? It's coming that handy. You're not dependent on Excel sheet or looking into, say here also bonus and gratuity is there. Your employer says don't show bonus and gratuity, so you simply can say it is no bonus, no, and calculate. See, it is gayab, and this also got changed. Okay. Now, if suppose we have to prepare a salary breakup for Karnataka where minimum wages is 18,000 and say DA also is 1,000 rupees. Okay, now you see minimum wages basic is 18,000 and minimum wages DA is 1,000, total 9,000. Okay, but actually it is coming basic and DA 15,000. So which one we should consider?
So as per the law, I mean 18,000 we have to.
Whichever is higher. So you just have to enter it here and click on calculate. See, it is automatically taken. So by mistake also you will not make mistake in calculating. That's the way I have created this calculator. Got it. Now see, HRA percent is 6,000. If suppose your company says no, calculate at 50%, you make it 50% and calculate. Okay, so see, it is coming 6,000 because it is more than that maybe. Okay, see, 18 plus 6 plus 1, it's 25,000. So it's coming. Okay. Yeah. And not only that, even PF, you need not to go and search because PF has slabs. So you need not to search. All those PFs are already configured here, even for Kerala. See, if I just calculate, see now, sorry, PT, not PF, PT is showing 180 because now we made this breakup for Kerala. If I make it for Karnataka, see, PT become 200 and take home is 23,000. If I just make it as Kerala and calculate, see, it is 180. See, take home change increased by 20 rupees because here it is reduced by 20. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now also there is one rule which I could not show you in Excel sheet. I'll show you here. See, something called service weightage applicability. Okay. This service weightage concept is only for Karnataka. No other state is following that. It's only there in Karnataka. Okay. And in Karnataka also it is applicable only for the employee who have completed 1 year in the organization, not for new employee. So you will say yes if you are preparing salary revision of an employee who has completed 1 year of service. If you are preparing for new employee, it should be simply no. You got it?
Understood.
Yeah.
But
And
what is that point?
no, it's a statutory rule. Government has decided that 1% of basic salary should be paid as service weightage to the employee and PF also to be contributed on that. This is the simple rule by the Karnataka state government, and it is applicable only to the employee who has completed 1 year of service in the organization. So when you are preparing it for the an employee who has completed 1 year, you have to say yes and calculate. See, 1% of service weight is calculated of basic salary. 18,000 basic salary, 1%, 180 rupees. Got it? And PF should also be calculated on that. So anyway, we have put the formula as gross minus HRA, so it is anyway calculated. Okay. Otherwise, say not applicable and calculate, it's gone. Similarly, gratuity and bonus I showed how if your employee may say not say. Okay, now basic is 60%. As I mentioned you that if you are preparing for Karnataka, it is 60%. If it is for Mysore, it will be 50%, metro non-metro. So you can make it like this also. Suppose if I remove this basic DA condition, okay, and then if I calculate, so see, then it is calculating 50%. 10,000 plus 2,500, 12,500, 50% of 25,000, right? If I make it 60%, then it changed. HRA also I can, maybe I can just put 10%. It's okay. Then everything is gone into other allowance, because HRA we gave him the hint that only 10% you calculate. So it is that handy. This calculator is that handy. The same thing if you have to do in Excel sheet 10 times, you will change the formula and things, and you might do a mistake. So that's why this kind of calculator is not available right now in market. First time I have prepared and launched it freely online. That's why I'm promoting so much, so that I want people to use it and understand its value.
See, before, the difference is here. Before I was going through this, I was not understanding much on this because I was not knowing it. So once you explain it in the Excel and the tool, it is completely different view altogether.
Correct.
It's completely different.
Yeah, because people don't know what it is. So only the HR who is working in payroll, when they see this, then they will understand, okay, this is so good. Because the same work when they have to do in Excel sheet, they have to do like anything and they get disturbed, and so many Excels they have to refer every time, change the formula every time, go and refer the PT rule and this rule, that rule. And if they have to even change the basic percentage and HRA percentage, obviously they have to change the Excel formula. Okay, and again come back and prepare the same breakup, again change the formula, so it becomes difficult. But here it is all in click. In single click you are getting the whole breakup. Now you can then copy paste it in your Excel sheet and modify it the way you want to and go ahead. So that easy. Then likewise there are many breakups also you can replace, like bonus. As I told you, employee, suppose somebody's basic salary is 12,000 and they have completed 12 months, so they can calculate their bonus. If they want to see what will be their professional tax, so they can select like Bihar, suppose, and gross salary is 23,000, then there is no PT. But if the same you calculate Andhra Pradesh, see, 200 rupees bonus, sorry, professional tax. Similarly, you have gratuity calculation, because employees when they leave job, they don't know the formula. So they want some kind of tool to be available online free, where they can check by themselves also what is the gratuity amount they will get. So if suppose somebody's basic pay is 45,000 and they completed 6 years, so they know that okay, this is what the gratuity amount I will get. Okay. Similarly, leave encashment. If suppose my basic salary is 30,000 and I have 12 leave balance, I'm leaving the job, so I should get it. So I should get this. Sorry, it is 3,000. 30,000. Yeah. So 13,000 is what I should get in my FNF as my leave encashment amount. Because people don't know how to calculate, so that's why I have launched this all. Okay, salary hike is a normal one. Overtime calculator, people don't know. If they have worked overtime, so suppose if my salary, basic salary is 23,000 and 6 hour I work, then this is what I should get in a month, my overtime. Okay. Employees are getting new offer, they can come to this take home salary calculator and simply select like say Karnataka, and they have got 50,000 rupees their gross salary. So they can calculate you, okay, my gross is 50, ESI is not applicable to me, provident fund is 1,800, 200 is PT, 48 should be my take home salary. They can verify it, okay, in one single click.
They'll get everything.
Yeah. So that's all. In 1 hour we completed the basics of salary structure. I'm sure it is clear to you. Once you
Yeah,
have
it's
this
clear.
knowledge, you can release the offer letter. Now next, same structure we have to put in Excel sheet, and how to enter attendance, how it is calculated on a monthly basis, how to get net pay, that we can cover in next session maybe.
Sure.
So
Please
far
add
any
it.
question or you are clear about it?
No, I got clear. It's more clear.
Yeah, so that's all it is, nothing much. And once you start working in payroll, no, then you will everything will be by hearted to you first of all, and it becomes in your practice, so you will feel it like, okay, fine, I know it. Okay, initially it looks like very complicated.
Understood. Let me prepare at least 2 or 3 states.
Yeah, you
Like,
can use the same Calcy and prepare for different with different formula and conditions.
yeah,
You will
yeah.
understand. Use this one
Hmm.
and
Sure.
verify the structures. You will understand. See, some of the states like Maharashtra I mentioned.
Hmm.
In Maharashtra, special allowance is also mandatory. Minimum wages is mandatory,
Oh,
5% HRA is mandatory, and special allowance is also mandatory. Other locations, special allowance is not mandatory. But
okay.
Maharashtra has said that special allowance also you have to pay, and they define it. What should be the special allowance? Like minimum wages, they are defining. Same way, special allowance
Okay.
they define. So at that time we have to consider that also. So that also I have considered in this calculator. I'll show you one more thing. Suppose if somebody's salary is
Mm-hmm.
higher,
Mm-hmm.
and you must have heard something called, see, this is a normal breakup, okay, of
Yes.
a Karnataka employee. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is a normal breakup.
Mm-hmm.
Now you must have heard something called VPF,
Yeah.
volunteer provident fund contribution.
Yes.
Okay, people wants to contribute more PF.
Yes.
Okay, why they want to contribute more PF? Because on PF ultimately everything is earning, right?
Yes.
And if they contribute more PF, then they will
Mm.
save income tax.
Yes.
So people who don't need money, all the money right now, so they can contribute more PF, and the more PF contributed, then income tax will be less for them. So
Yes.
but again there is a rule. More PF does not mean that you will not pay the minimum PF. Minimum PF of 1,100 will be there,
Okay.
but extra PF how much you want to, it you can decide. There is no rule.
Yes.
You can say add 1,000 more.
Excuse
So
me.
suppose
Mm-hmm.
right now my PF deduction is 1,800, add another 1,000 rupees.
Okay.
Okay, and just enter the amount and
Yeah.
calculate. See, the PF deduction become 2,800. Okay, but it has not changed for employer, because
Mm.
employer will not contribute more.
Yes.
It is you, your income, you want to contribute more PF. So you
Mm.
can choose whatever. Employer PF will remain same.
Okay.
Okay, employer is not willing to pay extra, but employee can pay extra PF as volunteer contributor, and uh, save the income tax.
Understood. Got it.
So if you have any other question, ask me.
No, right now I don't have a questions. So let me go through it.
Hmm.
So I'll disturb you sure in between. Let me create 2 or 3 states, breakup all those things.
Hmm.
So then I'll get
Yeah,
an idea
and
when it will be
also you
possible.
see here is a rule.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how to use this calculator? There is a rule given already here. You can refer this what I explain you.
Yes.
You can refer this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's more helpful. All the details are available here.
Hmm. Yeah. No, the whole intention was to launch it free for the users, because this is right now not available anywhere.
Yeah.
You can search a salary breakup calculator. I'll show you in fact. See, all this you will find which is of no use.
Ah.
See, you won't understand anything here, and you won't get a proper breakup. They are only asking you to enter everything, and they have no, I mean, what is there? You won't understand anything.
Yes,
First of all,
exactly.
understanding payroll is difficult. Then second, also if you go, then here also you can't even change things or change also. See, you have no clarity. You cannot give this breakup to your employee, or even you will only not understand what is your PF, what is the employer PF, where is the statutory bonus, where is the special allowance, how to enter minimum wages, right? So these are just the simple calculation they have given just to estimate. It is not the actual calculation how a HR uses. That's the
Correct.
thing.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, Kiran, thank you then for joining and practice.
Thank you
And
so
maybe
much.
next session we will discuss about how to generate the payroll register.
Ah,
Okay,
sure.
yeah,
Definitely.
thank
Meanwhile, I'll practice on this.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Thank you so
thank you.
much.
We'll connect again.
Yeah.